In this video, I'll be doing a brief comparison between the form factor and performance of these two latest offerings from Western Digital. They're both 2.5-inch USB3 5TB hard drives. This is the Western Digital Black. This is the Western Digital My Passport. And as of this video, on Amazon, this is $130, this is $120. Although I literally got this on sale just a few days ago for $100 when I bought this one, same time frame, for $125. And for the fun of it, I'll also show you an older My Passport. This is a 4TB drive from Western Digital in their fancy metal case. Their cheaper one was just an all plastic case. So I'll open these both up. Do a size comparison between the two, and I'm just going to run CrystalDiskMark so you can get a quick look at the performance. So here's the first of my passport. Still plastic case, no feet on it. And here's your micro B connector. Quick manual. And here's your USB 3 cable. They only give you a very short cable. If you want to get a longer cable that you know is reliable, you can check out my next video, which is going to be titled Fake USB 3 cables, in which I'll be showing some actual USB 3 cables that do work. Now let's take a look at the black. So this is my second one of these. And so I plan on using one of these on my Xbox One and the other one for my PCs. Same type of packaging. And this is in a plastic wrap. This feels like metal, like a metal cover. And this has rubber feet, where the other one does not. So you're not going to scratch up the bottom of your unit. This looks like some stickers and your manual, which isn't really going to tell you much of anything. Also, on these hard drives, you can enable encryption, so that way you will have to enter a password to access the drive. I believe I showcased that in another video that I posted. And basically the same size cable with a micro B connection. Now for size comparison, the non-black version is in a much smaller case. So it is a smaller form factor. It will be simpler and lighter to carry around. I'm trying to tell the weight. I think this is This is a little bit heavier. And so for fun, here is the old one. It is pretty close in size to the new Western Digital drive is very similar in size to the old 4TB one that I have here. I also have the same drive in 2TB. It's the exact same form factor. So very similar. In fact, I would say that this one is a little bit smaller, the new one, the case. But it's an old plastic case with no feet. I do like the appearance of this case, so it's a nice looking case. So now let's get on. Now before I continued on, I just wanted to highlight a couple of differences within the cables of the two drives. And while they're the same length, the drive that comes with the WD Black P10 Game Drive, well, there's a texture on the plastic here, whereas this one is more flat with the passport. It's a slightly darker color, and it feels like it's a heavier gauge cable. It doesn't bend as easily as this one. So, but performance-wise, in the tests that I've done so far off camera, it doesn't make a difference what cable I use in them. Same performances, but the game drive does have a slightly more robust USB3 cable. And if you want a longer cable than what's included, I do recommend going with a Ugreen branded USB3 cable, as they're very robust and reliable. So with that said, let's get on to the benchmark comparison. And as starting first with the WD Black Game Drive, and let me also add a couple of other fundamental differences between the two drives, is that the WD My Passport hard drive supports additional Western Digital tools, including adding a password for encryption, so that way it locks your data and it's completely unrecoverable without that password once you set it. So very important difference. You can't set a password on the game drive. You can on the My Passport. So if having password security on your hard drive is something that's important to you, hands down, go with the passport. Don't even think about it. So anyway, moving on, let's show you the actual benchmark performance. Let's load up CrystalDiskMark and run all tests. And this is set to do 3 passes with a 1 GB test file. And as you see where it shows capacity, it says 657 gigabyte. That's the formatted capacity of the drive. The formatted capacity of any drive, whether it be a solid state drive or physical hard drive, is always going to be smaller than the stated capacity. So this is advertised as a 5 terabyte drive, but you only get a little bit over 4.5 usable space. So far we're getting 131 read, 131.3 sequential. So it's going to go on with all the read tests first, then the write tests. Anyway, I do intend to be using one of these WD game drives on my Xbox One, so adding a password is inconsequential inconsequential to me for that purpose. Although I was planning going to be using the other one for my PC. I wasn't sure if I was going to use it just as a game storage drive necessarily, or to store other information, which I might want to have a password to. So I'm a little bit up in the air as to whether or not, to what I feel about not being able to add a password to the game drive. But anyway, as we continue on, when the tests are done on this drive, I'm going to be loading another instance of CrystalDiskMark and running the tests on the My Passport, so that way you can see the practical difference that you expect to see between the two. And as far as price points, the price as I am writing this video right now, the normal price is $130 for the game drive, $120 for the My Passport. Though literally a few days ago, the My Passport was on sale for $100, or $99.99, so $100. And the black was on sale for $124 and change, plus tax, of course. So I don't know why such a small sale on the WD Black versus that pretty substantial discount on the My Passport, but that discount was only on the black version of the black colored one. They have these in different colors. But yeah, value wise, you know, when they're on sale, no brainer to go for the Passport. Choosing between the two, because you're not going to see a substantial enough difference in actual disc performance to justify the additional cost, assuming, you know, that you see the same sale price discrepancies. So there we go, it's all done. You have a 131 megabit read, 127 write, and here are your other, that's for the sequential read and write speeds. I've seen over 128 on the right, and the read can vary between 128 to 131 as you see it. It can vary depending how many times I do this. So let's move this over to the corner. Let me eject the drive. And also, as you see over here, and then and the WD Black P10 Game Drive, only eject as an option. Whereas if I go to the apps, like the WD Security, for example, open, you know, it's not going to run. It says attach supported drive. It does not work. Alright, so let me eject this drive. And plug in the My Passport. So, yeah. So you can see the My Passport is plugged in now. Load up another instance of CrystalDiskMark. Same drive letter again, D. Same test, 3 passes, 1 gig file. And same capacity drive, both 5 terabytes. Okay. As you see, the read speed is slower on this drive. It can go as high as 127. It's really close to right now. So again, there will be some fluctuation, although I don't believe I've seen it go higher than 127 yet, though, for the read speed. And it's pretty close to it on this pass. And the 4K tests on the Q32, Q-depth, those numbers are pretty similar as well to the game drive. Now I don't know if both of these drives are the game drive and the My Passport. I don't know if they're using the same hard drive, though I figure they're not. And I don't really know for sure. But all I do know is that the game drive is consistently a little bit faster, and I mean just a little bit. Although the enclosure is more robust. You have that metal enclosure, the metal base, the rubber feet. And the slightly more robust cable that comes with it, but you could put your own cable, whatever cable you want. If you want to change cables, swap cables for either of these drives, I highly recommend Ugreen as the brand for cables. You'd be getting a Micro B to Type A cable, and the Ugreens are among the most reliable that I've seen thus far. And you see the write speed here is coming in quite a bit lower at 123.6. I've seen the write speed as high as a 125. So the highest numbers I've seen on the read as high as 127, 127.1. The write, the highest I've seen is 125. So always a couple points discrepancy between the read and the write. And it's always consistently a couple points lower than the game drive. And again, the performance doesn't change on either of these drives, regardless of what cable I use, no matter how good it is. I see the same performance, but having a slightly more robust cable will ensure slightly better reliability or resistance to interference from other devices or whatever. Alright, that does it. Test is done. Here are your side-by-side numbers here. So on this one pass, 131.3 this time around. Every now and then I'll get 128, like I said. 127 and change is the lowest I'll see. Like mid 127s is the lowest I've ever seen. And for the writes, I've seen as low as like 125 on here, but that's pretty much as low as it goes, which is the highest it'll go on the My Pass. And again, the sequential read 131.3. That's pretty much around the highest I've seen on this. The reads on here is just about the highest I've seen, 126.7. The highest I've seen is around 127, 127 and change. The other numbers here are pretty similar. Down the lineup. 0.55 versus 0.56 on the Passport, 55.8, 55.7, 46.2, 45.4. And then the writes, they're all in the 12 range. For all intents and purposes, it may as well be the same. You're probably not going to see any real difference between the two drives in terms of normal performance. I mean, it's pretty close. Unless you're doing really long loads, then you'll see a difference if you have game saves or things that take a really long time to load because they're so big. But I mean, the performance is so close. It's kind of a wash. And now let me plug in my older 4 terabyte my passport just for comparison. Let's see where I put it. Yeah, that's it. Let me eject this drive. And you see over here you have the set password option on the My Passport apps. The Western Digital Drive utilities and the security all works. It does not work with the other drive. Here, like Drive Utilities, for example. If I try to load that on the game drive, it says attach a supported drive. I can run the drive status check, quick test. Smart status passed. Anyway, let me eject this. And then you see set password. Eject. Now I'll be plugging in the my 4 terabyte My Passport drive that I got at least 1 year ago. I think more like 2 years ago or more. I don't remember exactly when. And this is a 4 terabyte drive, so that alone would make it slower than a 5 terabyte hard drive, because it fits, all things being equal, you have more information in the same space on a 5 terabyte drive. Now let's do what we did before. I'm going to run CrystalDiskMark. And this time I'm going to be changing to G, because that's a drive letter for that one. Same test, 3 passes, 1 gig file. All. And you're going to, here's where you're going to see your real difference. Well, do not mean that kind of difference. Something very strange on this computer from every now and then when I plug the USB3 drive in. It goes way slower than it should be. When you pull the plug out, and that's just like a random thing. I don't know what the cause of that is. So, pulled it out, put it back in again. Let's do that one more time. That was not the correct thing. So I'm on G. Formatted capacity of this 4 terabyte drive is 3.7 terabytes. Let's see, 3726. Read speed 100. Pretty big difference from the 130 I got over here and 126.7 I got on that one. So you're looking at more than 25% slower just on the read speed. Now wait till you see the write speeds. Let's put this back here for now. Actually, no, I could put the. You can see it all at once, so just stick it there. And write speed 95. $100 read, 95 write on my 4 terabyte my cloud from roughly a couple of years ago. And the Q depth tests, the 4K, Q32, those are astonishingly slow relative to the newer drives. So there must be some sort of caching going on the drive. Because, I mean, that's like a fraction of the speed. Like 2.1 versus 12 on all of it. And it's just about done. There we go. 1.5, 1.9 versus 12 down the line on the rights. Huge, huge, huge difference. But I don't know how noticeable that's going to be for daily tasks. But I mean, that is a big difference. So if you're using your older drive for more than basic storage, versus like a game drive or something, or to load apps off of, or you're installing stuff to it, then it's worth considering for sure going with the newer drive. You're about a 5 terabyte or larger you'd want to go. For sure, big difference in speed. So anyway, there you have it. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you found it helpful. Please hit that like button if you did, and please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me. Thank you for watching.